Welcome, everybody, to this social media church that is called Sunday Night Sanctuary. I am so, what's the right word? I just feel this sense of hope, as you can see from the title, that this matters. Gathering here like this matters for people who I call spiritual refugees. I've seen other people use the phrase. I know many people who live that refugee status as genuinely spiritual people. They have found the strictures of church to be altogether too confining, too miserable, too political, too judgmental. You name it. Far too many people have found church to be painful and just aren't going to do it anytime soon. So I'm offering this. We've been offering this for over 5 years, and I love doing it. Hope is the theme for tonight. In fact, what you see in the title is, Hope has dirt on her face, the grit of gravel in her hair, but she stands back up and says, let's give it another go. That's hope. So we'll talk about that in Sunday Night Sanctuary Church gathering with you all. I welcome you. I really do. So we do a couple of things here as a matter of liturgy to keep that format structured in a way that keeps us pointing forward to hope. We'll say the Lord's Prayer in just a few moments. And then in about 20 minutes or so, please, as an expression of hope, have a cracker or bread at the ready and a drink of your choice, wine or juice. I want to serve you communion as the powerful expression of the hope of Jesus. It's the hope of resurrection. Why? Because death inserted itself. Death said, I get the final word. But Jesus said, no, I am the resurrection. I am the resurrection and the life. Wow, that's hope. That's spitting out a tooth, quite literally. That's not in my title. That's another quote. That's spitting out a tooth and saying, let's give it another go. I am the resurrection and the life. All right? Join me, please, in the prayer that Jesus taught us to pray, the wisdom of God, not to be repeated vainly, but to be offered as a means of meditation, which calls me to repeat it very, very sincerely on a daily basis. If you know it, join me. If you don't, listen in. Here we go. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory. Amen. Amen. All kinds of hope woven into those powerful words, the most prayed prayer in human history. Prayer itself is the expression of hope. We push past disappointments. We refuse to give disappointment the last word on our life. So I've been pounding away. I've been beating the drum of hope for quite some time here lately, and I mean lately in the last 3 to 5 years. And I've got some notes that I've kept as a means of just keeping me strongly focused there. My main voice and word is love. But hope, love, faith, and love are the greatest factors of all Christianity, and the greatest of all is love. But with love, hope comes rising up in us. And that's why tonight's title is, Hope's got dirt on her face. Hope has the grit of gravel in her hair, but she stands up and says, let's have another go at it. Hope takes love and says, I won't quit. I'm hurt. I'm bleeding. I've been down, but I'm getting up. I know that feeling. I know that feeling all too often. I've found myself wondering what happened there. Like some football player who was running this way, and then you turn this way and the defensive lineman hits you square in the face. I've been there many, many times and have had to get up, spit it out, and say, I'm going to give it another go. You see, I don't think I could be a pastor of 50 years without having to recognize that my life has to be managed forward through hope, not despair. Don't misunderstand me. Despair lives with me on occasion. It comes to visit, knocks on my door, says, hi, I'm going to make you feel like crap. And I may answer the door and it may walk in there, but I have had to find myself regularly, steadfastly, to let hope rise in me as an act of resistance. Here in the United States of America, hope has been hard to find lately. But I think it's a matter of finding just the right people at the right time around you who can be joyful when you're not joyful, who can laugh when you're not laughing, who can say the right thing when all you want to do is say the wrong thing, right? All you want to do is just spit out a curse. Get somebody close by, somewhere, somebody. If not anybody in your life, join me in your club. Let me be your club master of hope on occasion. I'm not perfect at it, but I'll give it a go. I'll spit out my own tooth so that you can spit out your tooth, and together we can get up and give it another go. But hope is an act of defiance when things are dark, when things are despairing. We're in such a time here in the United States. But this emotion of hope says, I know that the quality of my living depends on hope, but it also is something I am determined to leave in my wake. No matter what I face, no matter what obstacles have knocked me down, no matter how many times I have felt like, in the case of what we do here, spiritual refugees gather here for Sunday night sanctuary. Look, nobody, I don't think anybody listening can say they've been beaten to a damn bloody pulp by church than my wife Ginger and me. We 50 years worth. So if you got stories, I recognize them. I honor them. But I just want you to know, we're with you because we've been there. We've been there many, many, many times. And every time we have found ourselves out, down, despairing, if the two of us can't pick each other up, we find somebody or something to speak hope into our soul, down deep inside, to give us that next desire to rise and shine again, whatever it takes. Here's a phrase I found from a website by the title of Black Liturgies. I don't have the exact address for it, but you could Google Black Liturgies. Now, the Black Church in America can teach us a PhD level in hope and resistance against cynicism and resistance against overwhelming odds. This is why I am forever connected somewhere, some way with the African American spiritual experience, have been most of my life. And I am determined to listen to their voice because they have found themselves on the downside of the pressures of privilege, white privilege, and power. In that regard, in the African American worship experience, hope is golden. It's written into the DNA of how they worship. Now listen to this liturgy I found from Black Liturgies. Hope is a risk, especially when you've known what it is to dream for better and only be met with the tyranny of degradation, greed, and violent appetites. In the 20th century, the African American experience in the United States suffered through more than 4,000 lynchings, just lynchings alone. Don't even add to that the violence that they suffered at the hands of racists like KKK and other organizations, but just sheer lynching in that last century, even in the last half of the last century, 4,000 lynchings. To that end, they say we look for better only to be met with the tyranny of degradation, greed, and violent appetites. but despair is a concession. Be careful of who you let regulate your dreaming. Always remember who benefits from your hopelessness. Always remember who's going to benefit from you dropping into hopelessness. And remember that hope is that one air, that one more tank of air to draw into your spiritual lungs, to run harder a little more, to run further a little more, to run even with a limp a little more. Don't stop with the sense that if I stop, I give in to hopelessness. Even if I have to drag a leg across the finish line, I'm going to remember who benefits from my hopelessness. And I won't give in to those who would benefit from my hopelessness. We need hope like we need air, Brené Brown says. We experience hope when we do three things. Let me give them to you quickly. Set realistic goals, whatever they may be. Just for the day, maybe for the hour, maybe for the half a day. But set a goal to do something affirmative for you, for yourself. What's the best next right thing you can do with the sense that if it's small hope, it's still hope? Number 2, figure out how to achieve your goals, to stay forgiving and flexible. Robert Schuller, a great old preacher, pastor from the last century, said, "Blessed are the flexible, for they shall not be broken." Be flexible even to a fault. Don't let your bending be an acceptance inside of yourself that you failed. If you had to bend, it was only to be able to stand up straight again. Bending is not failure. Bending is the accessibility of the pressure that's on you in the moment. It is that sense of, in this moment, there's tolerance I have to live with. I've got to tolerate the give because I'm going to give back with something that pushes back against the pressure. I hope you understood that. Number 3, Brené Brown says, for the 3 things I'm giving you. Number 1, set a realistic goal, even for an hour. Number 2, figure out how to achieve those goals and stay forgiving and flexible. Forgiving of yourself, by the way. And number 3, we need agency, all right? To believe in others that are like us. That when we find somebody else like us, then we say, okay, I can believe in myself. Agency is a means of self-management. Agency means I join Bishop Randy Dean on Sunday Night Sanctuary, Sunday nights, 6 p.m. Central Time. That's agency. It's one handle to grab. It's saying I have something I can do outside of myself. It's somebody somewhere who has a few footsteps to challenge me to take so that I know that this hope with my dirt in my face, I can wash the dirt. The grin of gravel in my hair, I can scratch that gravel out. You've done that a few times, haven't you? But stand up and say, let's give it another go. I'm asking you, join me. Let's give it another go today, tomorrow. Get up in the morning and say, I got another day to do the next right thing. I don't know how else to challenge you other than to say that my whole life has been lived on some sense that I've got to hang on to hope. I cannot afford to lower my hopes to the level of my disappointments. I've done it, but I know I can only afford that on a certain level. Hear that again. I cannot afford for too long or too often to drop my dreams and my hopes down to the level of my disappointments. It's not to say I don't acknowledge disappointment. I do. It is not to say that a certain disappointment hurt badly or even as bad as ever. I've had a few of those where I said, wow, that really hurt. But then when I stay there, I'm staying somewhere that's not good for my headspace, but more importantly, my heart space. My heart needs hope. Your heart needs hope. Even if it's small, breathe another breath of hope. Give yourself permission to believe again. One more time. One more shot. One more spit it out and get up and give it a go. I always have said that when I have found myself at my worst, something always shows up. To this morning, I was listening to a sermon. By the way, I've just had the last couple of Sundays to be outside of receiving, but giving a Sunday morning sermon. Very unusual for a guy who for half a century has been giving. But anyway, so this morning I was receiving a sermon, and the specific Bible verse that came up in the sermon was something some cruel person pitched at me just about a month ago. I mean, in a private message, they balled it up and threw it at me, and it stuck. I remember going, oh, you hurt me. And I mean, it wasn't like some doctrinal correction. It was, hey, here, take that. And it stung. It really did sting. I dusted off the dirt. I wiped the dirt out my face, got the gravel out of my hair, spit out a tooth, and got up and kept going. But this morning, just this morning, because I count on something showing up every once in a while, unexpected showing. This morning, I heard a verse that went, oh, and I don't have time to explain it, but my mind went, oh, that was the very dumb Bible verse this poor impoverished soul pitched at me to hurt me. And I heard it explained in a way that in all my Bible reading and all my study and all my meditation and everything I've ever done, that finally registered with me in a, wow, I needed that. And it was perfect timing. See, here's what I'm trying to say. Hope will appear for the hopeless when they are sometimes least expecting it. It'll go, hello, I'm back. Hope again. Hello, you are not without agency. The agency had to come from outside, perhaps. But here you go. Here's your agency. Here's your ability to walk forward again. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give in. And remember that Black Liturgy phrase. Always remember who benefits from your hopelessness. Oh, that's strong, right? That's a kick in the pants. That's an engine starter if there ever was one. Remember who's going to benefit from your hopelessness. And remember who benefits first from your hopefulness. You. Hope again. Hope has dirt on her face, the grit of gravel in her hair, but she stands up and says, let's give it another go. Come on. Join me, would you? Let's give it another go. Another day, another hour. Get it down to some means that you can hang on tight through the night. And I'll pull with you, pull for you. Send me an email if you need to. Let me know if you need somebody just to say, I believe in you. Don't, don't throw in the towel. Stand up and fight again, okay? All right. Now let's receive communion. Communion is really a profound expression of hope. It's Jesus prior to being smashed to death, to being ground into the powder of a cruel, evil execution. And on that just on the precipice of that weekend of his execution, you know, prisoners are asked, what do you want for your last meal? Jesus didn't ask wasn't asked what he wanted for his last meal. Jesus said, eat. This is my last meal. The expression of hope was in his voice. Eat this bread, drink this cup, and remember me. So to that end, we hold this cup and this bread, and we say these words. This is not the table. This is not the table of the church, but this is the table of the Lord. It's made ready for those who love him and those who hope in him, and those who want to love him more and want to hope in him more. So come, you who have much faith, you who have little hope, come. Let's have this last meal with Jesus. Let's remember that you have not been here long. If you've not been here long, and if you've been here never, I said that badly. If you've never been here, come eat. There's going to be some taste of hope here, some aroma of hope that's going to give you the cause to say, even if I'm broken, Jesus said, this is my body broken for you. If you come, he will not refuse. If you feel the brokenness of his own body, remember this, he feels the brokenness of your own body. So we bless this bread to be the measure of the hope of resurrection for all who dare to believe again. Join me, please. Did you smell something? Did you taste something? To slow this down is so important, so that the agency that's in this gives us a reason to breathe again. All right. And this is the cup of the Lord. This is the cup that Christ poured for those in that last meal, in that last supper. And he said, this is the cup of my blood, shed for you. They'd never had this. They didn't know what was happening to them. But there was a spark of the beginning of the agency of hope, that if we eat this bread and drink this cup, we're going to forward our life towards something better. With every nibble, every sip, something better is coming our way. So Jesus, bless this cup, the aroma, the taste. Bless this cup to carry us forward in the strength of hope, in the face of all obstacles to the contrary. To know that nothing is lost on the vision, in the vision of your own care for every child of yours. Every broken, hopeless, despondent, disappointed somebody has the eye of our Creator looking. If a sparrow doesn't fall from a tree without your complete vision, then certainly we don't fall from our trees without you knowing. No blood is shed from my children, but what I see and care. Bless this cup in Jesus' name. I appreciate you being here tonight. Remember, hope is not some flimsy, frail thing. Hope's been through some kick-ass battles. Hope is not some kind of sad, well, all we can do now is hope. No, I've lived through too many recuperations and agency-needed steps for my hope to be restored, to believe that. Hope is not flimsy. It is vulnerable. There's no doubt about it. But hope is tough, especially for those who decide, I won't live without it. I refuse to lower my expectations to the level of my disappointments. Thanks for coming for church here with me. I hope that you can hope and hope and hope with me. Ginger's putting up our contact information in the comments. If you support us financially, please understand that is our breath to know we're ministering to and you're sharing with as we go along. It just means so much going forward. And it just says to us, we can hope because we've given you hope and we've made you aware that hope is not optional equipment. Hope is essential. So thanks for coming to church tonight. I appreciate it. Turn to your neighbor and say, I hope. Do you hope? Okay, I gotta quit. Ginger's my co-church attendee today. All right. Feel free to share this. I don't say that really often, but share it on your timeline. Maybe somebody else out there just like you saying, I don't go to church because I can't bear the misery and the hopelessness of church. Share this with them and say, give it a shot. Give it a go. Maybe it'll work. And maybe it'll help you rise in hope again. Gotta go. Peace. Love to you all. And keep on hoping up.